A member of the panel is here with us, Tennessee Republican Congressman Tim Burchett. He has tweeted this week that, quote, "We're done with the cover-ups." Congressman, welcome. Do you believe that the U.S. government has been covering anything up?
Oh, 100%. You know, we've requested documents. We've gone to interview pilots and been stonewalled by our Pentagon. It's ridiculous. It's been going on since the 40s, and it continues to go on because, you know, I proposed a piece of legislation on this past week, and it was killed. It basically just said if an airline pilot had seen a UFO or something unidentified, that report would basically be sent to Congress, and they blocked it. I was told the intelligence community blocked it, whoever the heck they are, and you know, if they don't exist, then why the cover up? I mean, you're seeing the famous Tic Tac videos right there. And you heard from the pilot that we hope will be testifying before our committee. So it's we're taking the gloves off. This is ridiculous. The American public deserves to know. And there's no reason that our federal government tries to hide these things from us. Yeah, and for goodness sakes, they kept the Kennedy assassination. It's 60 years ago, and there's no one even left alive during that was anything to do with that report, but still the federal government refuses.
Not everything is out about the JFK assassination. You talk about the Tic Tac video, something's zipping around, and you can hear the pilots on their mics saying, you know, what is that? This thing it looks bizarre. You know, what do you think is out there?
Well, it's clearly, you know, if it was Russia, they wouldn't be bogged down in Ukraine right now if they had that technology. And of course, if it was China, they would control us more so than they do right now. If it was us, we would rule the world. And obviously, you're left with one other conclusion: it's something that's not of this world, and it's either something we're reverse engineering that we've recovered, or in fact, it is alien aircraft. And I'd just like to get to the bottom of it. We've had too many eyewitnesses. Too many of these people, and these military people are the best in the world. They're patriotic, decorated combat veterans. And yet, they're basically shunned by a lot of the military community.
Here's John Kirby discussing the situation and these allegations. Let's listen.
I won't do that. As you know, the Pentagon has stood up an entire organization to help collate and coordinate the reporting and analysis of sightings of UAP across the military. Before that, there wasn't really a coordinated, integrated effort to do that. And of course, we will always want to be as transparent with members of Congress and with the American people as we can, considering national security concerns.
Do you think they are? As you said earlier, they're not being transparent. What would you say to Kirby, and what would you say to the administration to do?
Absolutely not. They're not telling the truth. If you know, the people they put in charge of this thing, Eric, they can't even spell UFO. It's the most ridiculous thing. The hearings that they've had have been bogus. They don't have they had Mr. Graves in the audience. He had to come in at the last one, I believe, and he had to have press credentials. Wasn't even allowed to testify in open committee. You know, it's just the whole thing, top to bottom, is a cover up, and the government is doing it. We know they are. I mean, how many redacted files? Why don't they? And here's the thing: they're doing the polling. I sell a T-shirt on my site that says more people believe in UFOs than believe in Congress, and that's the truth. If it's not the truth, then release the files. All the Pentagon's doing now is they've seen the polling numbers. They're edging towards, oh, we need to study this. Send us $1 billion more. You know, they get audited every year, and every year every year they've ever been audited, they've failed the audit. This last year, they lost over $1 billion. Department of Defense can't find 60% of their assets. Listen, they don't need any more money. I don't trust them. They know they're not telling the truth. The American public knows they're not telling the truth. Just show up for the committee meeting and you watch what happens. We're just going to ask the right questions, and we're going to get it out. All I want is transparency. You and the media should be what you want.
Yeah, final issue, and that's something called Project Blue Book. I remember that was 20-some-odd years. That was like the landmark study, 1947 to 1969. Let me show you what the Air Force says about that. They said there were more than 12,000 reports. 701 remain unidentified. How about that? But the Air Force also said, quote, no UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force was ever an indication of a threat to our national security. There was no evidence submitted to or discovered by the Air Force that sightings characterized as unidentified represented technological developments or principles beyond the range of modern scientific knowledge. And there's no evidence indicating the sightings characterized as unidentified were extraterrestrial, you know what I mean, vehicles.
You know what I mean. I know what you mean.
What do you think?
I think it's bogus, obviously. We've had 14, I think it's over 14 now, documented near-miss incidents with our aircraft, $50 million aircraft, the best trained pilots in the world, and yet they still make those claims. It's bogus, Eric. We know it is. We're not going to parade out any UFOs or saucers or little green men on the 26th of July at 10 o'clock, but we're going to ask some tough questions, and it's getting ready to, the dam's getting ready to break. People are coming forth with great information.
That hearing, 10 a.m. Wednesday. Congressman Tim Burchett said the truth will finally start coming out. Congressman, thank you for joining us. We'll be staying tuned and watching for that hearing this coming Wednesday.
Thank you, brother.